Yo, what is going on, guys? Sonch here, and today we're gonna be watching the 10 Kamen Rider facts only some fans know. This is gonna be an interesting video, especially for me, since there are a lot of things on the Kamen Rider world that I don't really know about. So this is gonna educate me, and hopefully it educate you guys as well. So without any further ado, let's go watch the 10 Kamen Rider facts only some fans know.
Hi everybody.
Hello.
Today we're going to be looking at some little known facts about our favourite human-sized bug superhero, Kamen Rider. Now, it does say 10 in the title, but in actuality there's going to be a little bit more than that, making it worth every penny. Where to start, you may ask?
Educate
Let's go
me
right
then.
from the very beginning. The very first rider, Hongo Takashi. Number 1. It's not exactly an unknown piece of information now that Hiroshi Fujioka injured himself in a motorcycle accident while working on episode 9 and 10, which was simply a setting shot to be used as stock footage.
Dang.
He broke his leg, or rather smashed it completely, and was advised that he wouldn't recover for 3 to 6 months. At the time, the first episode had not even broadcast yet, and in fact, Fujioka watched from the comfort of his hospital bed. On top of that, Fujioka admitted that it was too much for him, and his current situation brought him to tears. If you want to know a little bit more about it, Fujioka goes into detail about it in his autobiography, all of which is contained in the first chapter. He also goes on to compare his bedridden state to Hongo being tied down for the cyborg surgery.
So what happened? Was he able
Unless
to
you've watched the
continue,
original
or
series,
was he
you
not
might not
able?
be too familiar with the character Taki. If not, you might know him as the Skull Rider character in the Kamen Rider Spirits manga. After the aforementioned accident with Hongo, Taki was brought in to be a human character who could fight without transforming, as a replacement for Fujioka not being able to appear. Taki was chosen to be an FBI agent instead of other crime-fighting organizations due to the popularity of an American show, also called FBI, that was broadcast in Japan at the time. There was fears that Taki as a human would be considered too strong, or stronger than Hongo, if he was able to dispatch all enemies that he came across.
Without transforming,
to circumvent
right?
this, Taki would beat down 3 shocker grunts, but be hit and knocked down by the 4th. An additional fact, Taki was considered to be a candidate for Kamen Rider Sango during the original show's run, but the heads of production decided to go with V3 and create a sequel show of its own. Another plan was to bring back Taki during V3 and have him become Riderman instead.
Riderman. That's an
Number
interesting
3.
name. Riderman.
Toshiki Inoue is a name you've probably heard of if you've watched any number of Rider shows, or Sentai. He's famously the head
Sadly, I
writer for
don't.
Chojin Sentai Jetman, Chouko Senshi Changeron, and early Heisei shows like Agito, Faiz, and the latter half of Hibiki, as well as various episodes and movies throughout Tokusatsu's back catalogue. He's renowned for his work on Tokusatsu, including it being his big break, but he got a helping hand from his father, who had a long history of working on television shows during the Showa period, under the pen name Masuru Igami. He started off in the 50s and 60s writing for shows like Planet Prince, Master Ninja Akakage, and
Master
Lightspeed
Ninja.
Esper. But more
Lightspeed
importantly,
Esper. The
he was
costume
head
is
writer
so
of the
goofy.
original
I'm
Kamen
sorry.
Rider,
It's just so
penning a
funny to
total of
me.
41 episodes out of 98. He continued as one of the main writers.
Ooh,
all the way
I
up
like
to
that
Super
costume,
1,
though.
And went on to work
The
on a
silver
variety
and
of
black
other
goes
shows.
well
Toshiki
together.
followed in his father's footsteps working on Kamen Rider, but also on the anime adaptation of Ninja Akakage.
Ooh, that was a lot better. The look
Let's
looks
skip
better.
a bit to the Heisei Rider period and stop off at the auditions for Kamen Rider Agito. One of the finalists of the title role was Yusuke Kosaka. What's so special about this young actor, you might wonder? He's the son of Ryo Hayami, aka Kamen Rider X. Now,
Wow, so
you
it's
would
like a
think this would give
generational
him a
thing
step
then.
up in the process, but he kept his father's legacy a secret, with good reason. Toei had a policy for main actors' family members not to be involved in front of the camera in a key role, possibly to avoid cases of nepotism. Eventually, his family history was
Alright,
unearthed,
makes
and
sense.
Kosaka was disqualified from the
Dang, that is so sad. That is
5.
so unfortunate.
Kamen Rider Ryuki is known for having 13
my favorite.
riders. While nowadays it's not the biggest number with shows like Kamen Rider Game, but at the time Agito preceded it and only had 4 in the TV show. Another Agito counts but V1 doesn't, and fans were rather startled back then. The theme of the show was Rider versus Rider, so you'd think that 13 would be enough. However, producer Shirakura originally wanted a staggering 50.
I've heard
to
about
appear,
this.
basically one
Yeah,
per
right.
episode.
Imagine
Director
50
Yuta
writers.
Tazaki responded that it was a tough request, thinking just about suit costs. What about 13? And so that's how we ended up with that number. In a recent talk show, Shirakuro remembered this story, but could not help but wonder, why is the director worrying about suit costs? Number 6.
I mean, why wouldn't he?
Reusing
He's a
motifs
director,
in Sentai
right?
Kamen
He has
Rider are all
the
but too
rights
often
to be
now.
worried
The length
about the
between
money
using,
cost
say,
and the suit
dinosaurs
cost.
for Juranger, Abaranger, and Kyoryuger was 10 to 11 years each. Both Kamen Rider Ryuki and Blade used cards, but there was only 1 year between them, that being Kamen Rider Faiz, stuck in the middle. Ryuki used avant cards that the riders used to summon their weapons and contract monsters to perform finishing moves. To differentiate the two, Blade's Ryao's cards are playing card based, and each card holds the power of the monster trapped within. The weapons were separate entities that could use and hold the cards in congregation with them. Also, the riders would use multiple cards at once for a variety of attacks. Like
Blade
Blade
is so
uses
good,
Kick
man.
Lotus
I
and
love
Thunder
Blade
Rouse
so
cards
much.
to perform his lightning
It's so
blast
dark.
rider
I
kick.
love it.
And just to make sure, the fighting style of the Blade Riders was intentionally contrasted. Number 7.
Especially
The
skin
first
form. I
episode
love
of
his skin
Faiz
form.
is a rather odd case. The show was my first ever Kamen Rider, and I stumbled upon it without any frame of reference and watched it with the mindset that I thought it was one of those cool J-drama shows that I heard back in 2003. And my oh my jaw dropped when people started turning into monsters. Many years later, talking on now defunct forums, I was glad to hear that I wasn't the only one who was confused at who the main character was meant to be. The show almost tricks you into thinking this is Kibba's tragic story, and boy did he have it rough in that first episode. The lack of Takumi seems intentional, but the truth is Kento Handa was still a high school student at the time and was busy finishing up his class schedule before committing to Fai's full time. This isn't remotely
that
the
makes
first time that a
sense.
tokusatsu show has had to accommodate for one of its young actors' school life. But episode 1's filming locations were a number of hours away from Tokyo and was too far for Handa to commute. Number 8.
Alright, that makes sense. But
When
imagine
planning for
being in
Kamen
high
Rider
school and
Den-O,
being involved
Toei
in
producer
Kamen Rider
Shirakura
stuff.
thought about
That
where the
is so
Den line
cool.
would travel to, hoping to have some special meaning to the destinations, but was limited by the filming locations that have been the standard for many years. For instance, Saitama Super Arena, where seriously every inch of that place has been used in one shape or another. So he was left with 3 options: 10 years in the past, a spiritual world, or a parallel world. All of you avid fans know that the spiritual and parallel world ideas were shelved and later used for Kamen Rider Wizard and Decade. An additional fact, when deciding on what specific date they would be using for Ryotaro and the Imagine would go to, the staff would check Yahoo Weather to see what the weather records were that day. Number 9.
That's smart, using the
One of the
internet,
highlights of
if
Kamen
you're
Rider
able to
Wizard are
film.
without doubt the action scenes. They're stylish as hell and incorporate elements of XMA, extreme martial arts. Due to the show's merchandise, specifically the wizard rings, Toei didn't want to portray Wizard punching anyone with them on his
With a
hand,
ring, okay.
hoping to avoid kids at home imitating and injuring themselves in the process. Instead, XMA's speciality is flair and kicks. This allowed them to avert the problem and give Wizard a radically distinctive style. Seiji Takaiwa has been the suit actor for the main rider for over a decade, but Wizard's fancy XMA action was portrayed by Hideki Tsukiguchi, who trained in America. He also did the suit acting for Hurricane Polymer in the recent live-action adaptation.
Interesting.
Number
They had
10.
to switch like people inside
Gaim's
the
fruit
costume
motif
because
was
it's
rather a head
vastly
scratcher
different
when it was
from
announced
before.
back in
The styles of
2013.
fighting.
No more so than because the previous year was a wizard having a very basic, ordinary design of magic. Ryder is no stranger to obscure motifs over the years, but even fruits was a bit of a puzzler. The producer at the time had actually suggested to do bugs. Yes, we almost went back to a bug-themed rider, but this was rejected by Bandai, who opted to do fruits, nuts,
Why
and
though?
soda. This isn't uncommon for a toy line distributor like Bandai to have a big hand in developing the shows every year.
But
One of the
why
questions
would you
might
reject
have
the,
is
the
why
bug
exactly
theme?
did they choose an orange to be associated with the main hero? The answer is, during focus testing with children in the target demographic, it was revealed that orange was their favourite, and so it became Gaim's base form. So there's 10 plus.
Wow, That's an interesting one. Okay, so that is it for the 10 Kamen Rider facts only some fans know. This is very informative. I'm, surprised that I learned a lot in a short period of time, 9 minutes 37 seconds. What saddens me the most is the Kamen Rider actor, the one that was rejected, because that would have been so cool because his father was a previous Kamen Rider, so it's like in their generation, but they can't really show it because of nepotism, like what he said. So he, in the end, he was rejected for the role, but that is so sad. Like, that would have been cool legacy wise, but I understand why they would reject him, because it would really look like, his dad was just the one who like pushed him to become Kamen Rider, and he was chosen because his dad was a Kamen Rider before. That would definitely be, a sad moment if I were, the guy auditioning to be a Kamen Rider. Just imagine, being a Kamen Rider and almost being one. But sadly, you can't really have it all in life, huh? And also the Ryuki one. The Ryuki one, I've heard that before. They planned 50 riders, and it was rejected, of course, because that would be, too much work. The cost of the costumes, of course, would make sense. That would be, higher than the 13 riders. And just the styles. Like, imagine how many animals, how many mythical creatures they have to use. They have dragons, they have bats, they have snakes, they have crabs, they have tigers, they have sharks in there too, and they even have a classic bug rider on that one. But 50, we might see a gorilla on that. I think that would be a cool addition to the Kamen Rider Ryuki series. But the one thing I know for sure is that the toy line for Ryuki, if that were the case, would be insane. Like, imagine being, having 50 riders and collecting all of the merchandise, like from toys, from role play items, from DVD episodes. Like, that will just be insane. Like, the amount of behind the scenes, the amount of action figures you would have. That's almost MCU level, like the amount of characters they plan to have on that one. But it is understandable why they would reject the idea of having 50 riders. Like, just writing that many characters. Like, even in Ryuki, some of the characters didn't really get the spotlight. Like, they had the least amount of screen time on that one. Even the crab Kamen Rider, I don't really know his Japanese name, but yeah, he didn't get a lot of screen time. He died earlier on the show. Just, writing problems, directing problems, and having that many writers is very troublesome, so it's very understandable why they would reject the idea. Flash forwarding on the high school student that was on the Kamen Rider show. I've heard from you guys, and also on other subreddits of Kamen Rider, that they use young actors, young up-and-coming actors as Kamen Riders. I don't really know why, but that is like a huge accomplishment for such a young actor to become a Kamen Rider. Like, even me, for my age, I'm not that old. I'm 22 years of age. I hope one day I can be in a Kamen Rider show. Like, I'm definitely up for it. I can see myself in a Kamen Rider show. Hopefully, just as a side character, I would be happy. But who doesn't want to be a main character of a Kamen Rider show? I know Hiden from 01 was like, what, 17, 18 when he became, 01? That is insane, how incredibly young they are as, actors on a Kamen Rider show. Like, this guy, from what he said, was on high school, and he can't really show up sometimes because he's busy doing, schoolworks, and the travel is that, he can't really commute because it's way too, far for him to show up in time. But that is insane. That is like a huge accomplishment. Imagine being an up-and-coming actor. So you don't really have any background yet. You don't really have any shows that you showed up to yet. And being casted in a Kamen Rider show, one of the, biggest shows of all time, legacy-wise, of course. But yeah, I wish someday that I could, you know, be in a Kamen Rider show, even just as a cameo, because I really do love Kamen Rider. I mean, it was my childhood. Ryuki was my childhood. Ryuki and Blade, to be exact. But yeah, that is really interesting. I really enjoyed this top 10. You know, I learned a lot of a lot of stuff in a short period of time, and hopefully you guys did as well. But I guess, you know, you guys are very hardcore Kamen Rider fans. I'm guessing that you guys probably know some of these. I'm guessing because I know you guys for a fact that, you know, you guys know a lot of stuff about Kamen Rider. You tell me a lot of stuff about Kamen Rider in the comment section. You educate me when I don't know anything. But yeah, do you guys have anything to add on this top 10 list? Let me know in the comment section down below. Educate me about Kamen Rider stuff, you know. Let me know some stuff that I didn't know about Ryuki, about Blade, or just any other Kamen Rider. Also, make sure you check out the Tokusatsu Network. They're the ones who made this video. Very informative. I like the concept. It's straight to the point, no BS. So subscribe to their channel. They're at 43.3 thousand subscribers, and we're at 1,060 subscribers. So thank you guys so much for the support. Hit like, subscribe, follow our socials. Gonna be linked in the description. Help us reach 2,000 subscribers. Hopefully we get there by the end of the year. Our Discord channel is on the way, by the way, so wait for that. Check out our community tab. I might post an update about our Discord channel. Get the chance to talk to me, Nasael, Zainly, get exclusive content from us, exclusive updates. And yeah, I'm waiting to see you guys there at the Discord channel. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. And in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.